is a contemplation and a tuning around the nature of progress. But first, let's start the way I have the past couple of YouTube lives. I'd really like to create a connection, a feedback loop between mind and body, mind and heart. So if I can ask everyone to just breathe and start to feel into just being right here, right now, wherever you are, whenever you happen upon this video, whether you're laying or sitting or standing. Nice. To drop into the connection point around the mental faculty of listening to my verbal cues to breathe, and then dropping into the body to actually breathe into self, right? Okay. And let's create that coherent loop inside self, right? Nice, nice. Because whatever 2025 brings your way, whatever the year that you find this video brings your way, the month, the day, you're going to greet that arrival from this place of breath and this place of interiority. So let's just start there and remind ourselves that this is always available to us. This connection, this kind of positive feedback loop of information, this systemic refresh, right? Like when you refresh your browser page, right? If you think of that little circle with the arrow on it, like bring it back around, bring it back around. Okay, let's do that inside self, right? Bring it back around. Good, good, good. Refresh into the now. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, so today's contemplation and tuning is around the nature of progress. I have been really leaning into listening in all the ways that a person can listen to the themes of 2025 to sort of see what's coming, to see what's coming for this year, but on a much, much larger umbrella, sort of meta scale, to see the unfolding for the future of humanity and how these next couple of months that we mark off on calendars are going to play into that inside of us, right? As the units, right? We as people are the units that create culture, that create meaning, that create things that then create the world that we know. And we are such active agents in that creation. So, this contemplation is on the nature of progress. And I'm going to put down the forks here for just a second so I can use my hands. Not so very long ago on social media, there was a video that I saw many, many times over that was a time-lapse sped up progression of a dahlia flower blooming. And while it took whatever, a day or a day and a half to go from closed bud to open bloom, the actual movement of that opening wasn't a light switch. It wasn't closed, then open. It was this time-lapse undulation of opening. When my children were little and I would watch them grow, I'd feed them every day, as you do. And then all of a sudden I'd look at them and I'm like, wow, they're getting a little thick, and then all of a sudden they'd go through a growing spurt. And I thought of them as these kind of human inchworms, right? Because you'd watch them kind of ever so subtly morph in front of you, but they would kind of plump up and then they'd stretch out and then plump up and then stretch out. And that is, and when you think of athletic or physical training progress, it's the same thing. You can train and train and train, and then one day you can do a pull up, and then for whatever reason, the next day you can't quite do it. But that doesn't mean that you can't do a pull up, and it doesn't mean that you won't do a pull up the next day. And this sort of one step forward, two step back, the non linear, natural path of progress is something that doesn't translate easily to a PowerPoint presentation. And so we've gotten really far away from the truth of what living and doing and producing and creating looks like. There's moments of thrusts, and then there's going to be moments of sort of backing off. It's sort of like a pendulum swing rather than right, than like a missile being shot out of a cannon. We would all love it if everything were a straight line. That would appeal to our left brain centric cultural mindset, because the left brain thinks very linearly, whereas the right brain thinks in terms of broader connectivity and context. God, it's really weird. Okay, already. I'm going to stop with the words. Let's tune into the natural back and forth that is actual progress. And see if we can hold in our bodies the remembrance of things not being linearly straight but still progressive. There we go. There we go. Whew. God, wow. Y'all, there is resistance to that. It's like when I say that, we all know it, but everybody is like, ah, rah, rah, rah. I'm getting some rah, rah on that. Rah, rah. Why is that? Why are we allergic to that? Why are we allergic to the true path of nature? How funny. Getting blowback on how things actually go. But if we moved in concert with how things actually go, wouldn't that make things actually more pleasant and easy? Or at least less ambiguous? Yeah. 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 Wow, I got everybody's buy-in on that. How would you like things to be less ambiguous? Isn't that interesting? That's different than full clarity, isn't it? To be less ambiguous means that when I don't know, it's somehow easier to be in the I don't know. That's being able to be less ambiguous, whereas clarity is, oh, I know. Okay, well, if we can't get there, maybe we can start with it's okay if I don't know, right? Okay. And that kind of undulating pathway, it's not necessarily quick, right? It's even that is a slower movement. I feel a lot of people kind of again, pushing back against the idea of progress isn't linear. Wow, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Like, who, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we want things to be straight. That all progress looks like a hockey stick. Um, but whoever made that graph was lying to us, and just because we all bought the concept and liked the visual, it was never true. So why are we clinging to that concept with like dear life, right? With white knuckle. Why are we white knuckling onto this hoax of an idea? um, when humans are born, I mean, occasionally a baby does just in fact come straight out, but there is a rhythmic undulation process of arriving. For flowers to bloom, there is a rhythmic undulation that goes back and forth until its full arriving. It is that way with skills. One of the things about biofield tuning is, I guess in classes, one of the jokes is you have to be willing to suck at something for 10 minutes to do something well. So it's like you ping the fork, it goes well, then you don't know what you're doing. Okay, that's a step back. Then you ping the fork again and realize, oh, I'm, this is informative. I'm being able to work with this. Right. That isn't a straight line. I mean, nothing really is a straight line, right? Why are we crabby about that? Ooh, 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 there we go. I'm feeling that. That's right. Come on, get happy. Everything's a curvy line. Come on, get happy. Like, let's get happy about that because that's how it go. Yeah. 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 In your mind, kind of do the grab and trash of the hockey stick PowerPoint slide of progress and think of like a sine wave, right? A sound wave. Think of oh, yeah, I know what it is. Like when one or two or people are throwing something really heavy, they have to swing it back, swing it back, swing it back, and then all of a sudden, shwink, and then they get to go. Well, they couldn't have just picked it up and moved that thing. It doesn't work that way, right? So why, um, and if you fight it, you're not gonna be able to toss the rolled up carpet or whatever very far now, are ya? So you can get real resentful of that, or you can just start to pendulum swing it until such a time as you can let her rip, tater chip. And then be pleased with your work, right? And then be pleased with your work. If the line isn't straight, it doesn't mean that there isn't incremental progress along the way. Hey, hey, those are all celebratory moments. Right. Okay, that made sense. That made sense. Wow, that is so interesting. The collective field thought if it's not straight, then it doesn't get done. But that's not true at all. It's just the nature of progress is a has a different arc on it than how it is typically represented to us. That's all. It's not that things don't get done. Right. It's not, yes. Ha 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 ha. All right, well, we did come on and get happy about that. That's right on. That's right on. That feels good. Okay, this one is. I have to stand between my two rainbows here. Um, Wow. Wow, this feels fantastic. I don't know, you guys, this tuning was awesome. I have been, quote, trying to keep these sort of short. They've been a little bit longer than this, but this this concept, this contemplation, this really feels resolved, and it feels as if it landed in the system. Like, okay, this made sense. We can work with this. I feel informed, fortified. I feel fortified. I quote G.I. Joe to my clients all the time. And back, if you're of a certain vintage in this world, there was a tagline from the G.I. Joe early morning Saturday cartoons when they played cartoons only on Saturday morning. They didn't have a channel for it. That knowing's half the battle. Okay, so if you know that this is the pathway of natural progress and that every undulation is a win, yeah, well, that makes assessing where you are on the daily a little bit more comfortable, and it removes that context for frustration, because it's like, well, okay, if I'm throwing the thing like this, right, am I on a, this, or am I on a backswing, and does that mean then tomorrow I get to get it over the finish line on that particular thing, right? Yeah. Let's really ground into that. If we were taught that that is the way, when that winds up being the way, isn't that ever so much more comfortable? Yes. Yes. Right on. Right on. All right, I am just going to shine this up. Let's put some harmonics on this. Being able to embrace an undulating rhythm and being in concert with the nature of things is a way to promote more comfortable orientation as we navigate expansion and evolution, which is always a disordering process. Expansion and evolution, mutation and change, necessarily means that something, to quote Richard Rohr, that something is going from the ordered box into the disordered box. And then it will eventually reach the new order box, but you can't go from ordered box to new order box. Everything has to go progressively from order to disorder to the new order, right? And that is an undulating pathway. It can't not be. So as we navigate the transitional, evolutionary, mutational, expansive, difficult, destructuring so that new structure can emerge time, right? That is going to be an undulating progressive line, friends. And as we are reassured of the nature of what that looks like, it's going to be a lot easier to ride the waves, right? Here's your sonic Dramamine. uh, for this topography. Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. All right. And with that, we are finished. Please visit RebeccaCarner.com. Please like and subscribe and share to my YouTube channel. Please look for my upcoming public events in the Atlanta area. And at some point later this year, I am certainly going to be doing some more online events. If you want more information or just to schedule an informative chat, please feel free to reach out. All my best to you guys as we wrap up. I have one more YouTube live for January, but as we wrap up this first month of 2025, best wishes and love to you all, you guys. We are making it happen, Captains, and it's going to be a remarkable year. Full stop. There's just no other way. I'm happy to be here with you. Love to you all.